scary mask killer. The mask appeared in Riverdale on October 15th, displayed in the window of Morrison's antique shop on Main Street. It was porcelain, painted to resemble a smiling human face. But something about the smile was wrong. Too wide, teeth too perfect, eyes too empty. The kind of thing that looked innocent in daylight, but would haunt your dreams at night. Emma Rodriguez walked past it every day on her way to work at the library. She lived in Riverdale her whole life and had never seen anything like it in Morrison's window before. Where'd that creepy mask come from? Emma asked Mr. Morrison when she stopped in to browse on her lunch break. The elderly shop owner looked up from the ledger he was studying, his expression darkening. Found it in a storage unit I bought at auction. Previous owner died under strange circumstances. Police cleared it out, but that mask wasn't in their inventory. Appeared in one of the boxes later, like it had been hidden. What kind of strange circumstances? Morrison hesitated. The man who owned was found dead in his home, wearing an identical mask. Looked like he'd been trying to remove it, but it had somehow fused to his face. Medical examiner couldn't explain it. Ruled it death by unknown causes. Emma felt a chill despite the warm autumn day. And you're selling it? Trying to, but no one wants to buy it. Had 3 people nearly purchase it, but they all backed out at the last minute. Said they had nightmares about it. Emma looked at the mask again, studying its fixed expression. The eyes seemed to follow her as she moved. I can see why. It's unsettling. That night, Emma couldn't stop thinking about the mask. She told herself it was just morbid curiosity, but something about it had burrowed into her mind. She found herself researching the previous owner, a man named Robert Chun, who died 3 weeks ago at age 47. The police report was public record, and Emma was disturbed by what she read. Robert had been found by neighbors after they heard screaming coming from his house. When police arrived, they found him dead in his living room, wearing a porcelain mask that appeared to be melted onto his face. His fingernails were torn, hands bloodied from trying to remove it. The autopsy suggested he'd suffocated, unable to breathe through the mask, but there was no explanation for how the mask had adhered so completely to his skin. Emma's research revealed something even more disturbing. Robertson wasn't the first. Over the past 60 years, at least 7 people had died in similar circumstances, always wearing the same type of porcelain mask. The cases stretched across 3 states, seemingly unconnected except for the mask. Each victim had purchased a mask from an antique shop or estate sale. Each had died within 2 weeks of bringing it home. The mask was cursed. It had to be. Emma knew she should stay away from it, should warn Mr. Morrison to destroy it. But she was drawn to it, compelled by something she couldn't explain. She found herself walking past Morrison's shop multiple times a day, staring at the mask in the window. On October 20th, 5 days after the mask appeared in the window, Emma walked past the shop at 11 p.m. after working late at the library. She shouldn't have been looking. The shop was closed dark, but she glanced at the window anyway. The mask was gone. In its place was a note, illuminated by the streetlight. Sold. Thank you for your purchase. Emma's heart raced. Who had bought it? She pulled out her phone and called Mr. Morrison, even though it was late. Hello? He sounded tired, annoyed. Mr. Morrison, it's Emma Rodriguez. The mask, someone bought it. What? No. Shop's been closed since 5. No one bought anything today. But there's a sold sign in the window. A long pause. That's impossible. I'm looking at my inventory right now. The mask is still here. Still marked for sale. Emma looked at the window again. The sold sign was gone, and in the glass, reflected by the streetlight, was the mask, hanging in the window exactly where it had been all week. Emma? You still there? I must have been seeing things. Sorry for bothering you. Emma hung up and hurried away from the shop, her skin crawling. She walked the 3 blocks to her apartment, constantly looking over her shoulder, feeling watched. When she finally got inside and locked the door, she felt only marginally safer. Emma poured herself a glass of wine and sat on her couch, trying to calm her racing heart. She was being ridiculous. It was just an antique, just an object, nothing to be afraid of. Her phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. You shouldn't have looked. Emma's hands shook as she stared at the message. Who is this? The response came immediately. I've been waiting for someone who could see me, someone who understood. You kept coming back. You kept looking. Now I can come home. What are you talking about? Who is this? Look at your door. Emma's blood turned to ice. She didn't want to look. Every instinct screamed at her not to look, but she couldn't help herself. She turned her head toward her apartment door. Hanging on the outside of the door, visible through the peephole, was the mask. But that was impossible. The mask was in Morrison's shop. Emma had just seen it there. She approached the door slowly, her phone gripped tight in one hand. Through the peephole, she could see it clearly, that porcelain face, that too wide smile, those empty eyes. As Emma watched, the mask began to change. The smile widened impossibly further, stretching beyond the boundaries of the porcelain. Cracks appeared in the surface, and through those cracks, Emma saw something writhing underneath. Something alive, something that shouldn't exist. Emma backed away from the door, her breath coming in short gasps. She called 911, her fingers fumbling on the screen. 911, what's your emergency? There's someone outside my apartment. They left a mask on my door. I think they're stalking me. Are you safe inside? Is your door locked? Yes, but... Emma's words died in her throat as she heard the sound of her doorknob turning. She'd locked it. She knew she'd locked it. But the door was opening anyway, swinging inward to reveal. Nothing. The hallway was empty. The mask was gone. Ma'am, are you still there? Emma couldn't speak. She was staring at her living room wall, where the mask now hung, mounted as if it had always been there, as if it belonged there. It's in my apartment, Emma whispered. It's inside. She dropped the phone and ran to her bedroom, locking the door behind her. She could hear the 911 operator's tinny voice, still speaking from the phone on the floor. Ma'am, stay on the line. Officers are on their way. Emma sat on her bed, shaking, staring at her locked bedroom door. She could hear something moving in her living room. Soft footsteps, the sound of porcelain scraping against walls. A voice spoke from the other side of the door, and it was wrong in every way. Too many tones at once, like multiple people speaking in unison. You don't understand yet, but you will when you put me on, when you become like the others, when you join us. I'm not putting on that mask, Emma said, trying to sound brave, but her voice cracking. The police are coming. You need to leave. Laughter answered her, terrible laughter that made her skin crawl. The police can't help. No one can. I've been passed from person to person for 60 years. 7 have already joined me. You'll be the 8th. And then I'll be passed on again to the next person who can't stop looking, can't stop being drawn to me. The doorknob began to turn. Emma grabbed her lamp, ready to use it as a weapon. But when the door opened, there was no one there. Just a mask, floating in the doorway at head height, suspended by nothing. Put me on, the voice said. It only hurts for a moment. Then you'll understand everything. You'll see what I've seen. You'll become part of collection. The mask drifted toward Emma. She swung the lamp at it, but it passed through as if the mask wasn't solid, wasn't really there. The porcelain face was inches from hers now, those empty eyes staring into her soul. Emma closed her eyes and screamed. When she opened them, she was lying on her bedroom floor. Police officers were standing over her, speaking urgently. One of them was asking if she was okay, if she was hurt. The mask, Emma gasped. Where's the mask? What mask, ma'am? There's no mask here. Emma sat up, looking around frantically. Her bedroom door was still locked from the inside. The window was closed. There was no way anyone could have entered. But it was here. It was talking to me. Ma'am, you called 911 saying you're being stalked. When officers arrived, your door was locked. We had to get the manager to let us in. We found you passed out in your bedroom. Do you take any medications? Any history of seizures? Emma realized how crazy she must sound. No, I don't know what happened. The police took her statement, checked her apartment thoroughly, and found nothing amiss. No signs of forced entry, no mask, no evidence anyone had been there except Emma herself. They suggested she might have been sleepwalking, having a vivid nightmare, possibly suffering from stress-induced hallucinations. After they left, Emma sat alone in her apartment, tried to convince herself they were right, that it had all been a nightmare. But she couldn't shake the feeling that something had changed. She looked in the mirror and noticed something that made her stomach drop, a thin crack running down her face from forehead to chin. Not a wrinkle, not a scar, a crack, like the one she'd seen spreading across a porcelain mask. Emma touched her face, and her fingertip came away with white powder, porcelain dust. Over the next week, the cracks spread. Emma tried to hide them with makeup, tried to convince herself she was seeing things, tried to ignore the feeling that her face was hardening, becoming less flesh and more something else. On October 30th, Emma returned to Morrison's antique shop. The mask was back in the window, just as it had always been. Or had it ever really left? Mr. Morrison looked up as she entered. Emma, you don't look well. Are you feeling all right? Emma touched her face, feeling the cracks beneath the makeup. The mask, how much do you want for it? I thought you said it was creepy. I've changed my mind. How much? Morrison named a price. Emma paid without hesitation. She needed the mask. Had to have it. It was calling to her, pulling at her, promising answers to questions she didn't know she was asking. That night, Emma locked her apartment door, drew the curtains, and sat on her couch with the mask in her hands. The porcelain was smooth, cold, heavier than it should be, and in the reflection of its glassy surface, Emma could see faces, 7 faces, all screaming silently, all trapped inside. I understand now, Emma whispered. You're not just a mask. You're a prison. She should destroy it, smash it against the wall, burn it, throw it in the river. Instead, she found herself lifting it to her face. The porcelain was cool against her skin. It fit perfectly, as if molded specifically for her face. Emma tried to pull it off, but it wouldn't budge. She felt it beginning to warm, beginning to fuse, beginning to become part of her. She screamed and clawed at it, but her fingernails only scratched porcelain. The mask was her face now. Her face was the mask. 2 weeks later, Morrison's antique shop displayed a mask in its window. Porcelain, painted to resemble a smiling human face. The police report listed Emma Rodriguez as missing, last seen purchasing an antique mask. Her apartment was found empty, door locked from the inside, no signs of struggle. The mask waited in Morrison's window for the next person who couldn't stop looking, couldn't stop being drawn to it. The 9th person to join the collection, because some masks you put on, and some masks put on you,